Hello. Good evening, guys. I am just music for my voice. I'm just getting sort of slowly set up for what I have for you guys for tonight. I'll just brush off the camera. So let's see. I think we should be kind of ready. Cool, because I have my excellent. So yeah, hi, hello. I just need to make sure I have everything fixed. Hi guys, hello, happy Thursday for the ones that celebrate the Orthodox Easter. Happy Holy Thursday for Easter. It is 9 o'clock, and as you know, and the ones that have been following, and thank you very much for all the following, I have kind of a little sort of an agenda plan for the week, just to keep myself busy, but also kind of spread the love and the positive energy around, guys. So Thursday is something that I call the food for positive thoughts. So the idea really is, I kind of mentioned it the previous year, but it is really just to bring across some positivity. So the thing is that, like, I'm by nature, I think, a positive person. I like to believe that. And lately I've been asked very, very often about but how do you do that even now in these times, which is sort of, it's not easy. Maybe it comes natural to me, but it's not easy. It's not like I, get up in the morning and I'm like, no, it's not. It really does require some effort. So I thought, like, maybe if I share some tips and tricks and things that I do could help others as well. So for the ones that don't know me, guys, my name is Anastasia. I'm one of the health ambassadors of Amsterdam City. And basically I love to kind of help people, inspire people, support people, bring value to people's lives, have a positive impact, contribution to my community, my family, my kids, and that's sort of what I love to do. It gives me a big energy, and from there, like, all the things that I do, and all the things you also see kind of on Facebook these days. Life was, for me, the only way of, I think, keeping everybody, keeping the social connections, if I could say, so physical distancing, but not social distancing. So what I have for you today, guys, tonight, for the sort of first official, or second, really, the first was in the introduction, is a little bit about some things that have been a big eye-opener for me, especially, as I mentioned the previous time, in my period of my mental burnout, which kind of started mid 2018, and I was doing a lot of soul searching, a lot of kind of book reading, a lot of seminars, a lot of personal development, a lot of things that could just sort of give me the answer as to not only why I'm in the situation that I was, but how can I help myself? How can I help myself get better? And how can I not only just sort of quick fix, but really kind of build upon that and really kind of build a little bit more stable, well-being, sort of well-being, I would say. But before I go in details, so there are a couple of things. I think the things that I've learned, and I have kind of a little cheat sheet over here that I wrote down so that I don't forget things. But the things that I've come to learn and I've come to realize over the years, the few years since my burnout, it's like 2 years since my burnout. I think they're not only just burnout related. They're actually, burnout is just a result of, I think, in my case at least. And I think what I've come to realize is that many of the things happening, and things that I've kind of come to realize over the years, are happening in our everyday lives every single day. It's just that some of us process it differently, and I've processed it the way that I've processed it, and I've come to the result that I've come. Some process it better than I do, some worse than I do, but that's not the point. The point is that I think what I'm about to sort of, the notes that I've taken, I think they're generally applicable. They're not just for people that are in burnout or whatever, but they're really just generally applicable. But before going to kind of details, something that I mentioned the previous time is that I really, really want to kind of just point out that I am not, I don't know everything. So I want to be kind of, I want to take the pressure off my shoulders, and I want to say that I don't know everything. I'm not right. I'm not a professional. It's just these sort of lives that are again sort of food for thought and for positive thought, and it's just my the way that I view things. It's my point of view. So some of them backed up with some things, but in general, it's just my point of view. So it's fine if you don't agree. It's fine if you have other experiences. If you want to share their experiences, it's all good. There is no right or wrong in this. So kind of the couple of things that I noted down for today, and I want to share with you guys. It's first, I kind of think like things that have been happening lately in our lives, and not lately like the coronavirus lately, but lately the sort of 2-3 decades lately, and some of the factors that are and some of the things that we are quite sort of exposed to life, and how I personally I'm trying to deal with it really on daily basis. So the first thing that I sort of feel like saying is that I think the possibilities that our generation, so I'm born in the 80s, and I think the possibilities that our generation is facing it's incredible. You know, we have relatively, I mean, if you compare it to like 100 years ago when it was the big 1930 crisis, we are in a pretty, most of us, again, I need to watch out to my words sometimes, but at least my life and my background and where I come from, I have had a lot of possibilities, education-wise, job-wise. I mean, relatively, you know, I had to fight for it, I had to work for it, but we had a lot of possibilities. But that also creates a lot of pressure because of all the possibilities. When you come out of school, you gotta sort of you're not 18 years old. You know, you're an 18, 19, maybe 20-year-old kid, or even sometimes if you're smart, you're 17, and you're out of the high school, and you gotta have things figured out. I mean, that's what that's what sort of is expected. I felt of me, of us, of my generation. So we gotta have things figured out. So, which is not really the case, is it? So we very often, or at least for a big part of my adulthood life, I have been identifying myself with my achievements. And that's good, you know, that's really good. But I have been really identifying myself with my resume, with my CV, with my job titles, with my master degree, with my, you know, whoever has a doctoral degree. So it's really identifying with that sort of your resume. I'll go a little bit further in details, but just bear with me, you know. So that's kind of the first thing. So we really I strongly identified with that. The second thing is that not only education, not only jobs, not only everything is there, but it's really like if you see the technological developments, you know, the technological developments are insane. I mean, since the Industrial Revolution and moving forward in like a very short period of time, we have insane, massive developments. Insane technological development. So the information is there. Everything we have on the touch of the button. I'll also come to that a little bit later, but That all means that we constantly get a lot of in Dutch they call it prikkels, but I think it's stimuli, so a lot of information, just bombarded with a lot of information. Which in essence, what happens to us, because we have all this technological stuff around us, and not only just information, but like gadgets and those things, we tend to isolate ourselves in behind our laptops, behind our computers, behind our TV, behind our phones, behind whatever. PlayStation, Nintendos, you name it, that we are social human beings. We are born to know how to exist in groups from our ancestors. But these technological things, instead of sort of bringing us together, they're dividing us apart. They keep us kind of very, very isolated, very individualistic. It's again how I feel. So we start to just go into this mechanism where we follow what's out there without really just asking ourselves, what is it that we actually kind of want? So that's like, I'm touching on these topics. I'm not going to go in details, but I will try to also respect the time that we have, because I don't want to keep you too long. So and again, sort of, this was kind of my thoughts that I started noting down. Then another thing we have is not only technological developments, but if you see the last, 20 years or so, 15 years, it's the social media. And I think the social media, and thank you to social media. I mean, I couldn't have done this tonight if I didn't have social media. So I think social media, as everything else in life, brings a lot of it. The same with the technological developments, it brings a lot of benefits, but also a lot of sort of, it's plus minus, right? Not everything is perfect. It has its plus and minuses, and that's what we actually need to kind of realize. So social media, it's a great thing. It's a great tool. But what now happens with the social media, and especially if I see myself 5 years ago, I'm not only the new generation, not only the kids around the blocks, but suddenly we need to start comparing ourselves. We don't need to. We feel like, because we get all these celebrities, we get all these faces, we start comparing ourselves to people that we don't even know. We have no clue about their lives. We just think that we know, but we don't know. And the thing is that we have come to in a situation where instead of sort of having a benchmark against our peers, against our neighborhood, against our friends from the hood and everything, our benchmark is against people we simply don't know, celebrities and beautiful faces, beautiful bodies, and it's just insane, so the comparison is very, very unreal. So there of course creates a lot of pressure on all of us. It created a lot of pressure on me. I would see like perfect moms, they have everything handled, and I was like, why am I not that? So it does create a lot of pressure. We all kind of have this little thing that says we are not good enough. You could do better. Look at her. You're not her or him, or those kinds of things, which is sad. And we start to really very, very much consider what other people think of us, right? I mean, look at Snapchat, look at Facebook, look at Instagram, look at whatever, TikTok, whatever we have today. So it's really, it's good that it's there. It's really good, but it's just a lot. So I'll sort of come back to that a little bit later, but that's kind of my thoughts. So sort of the third thing is sort of the social media we have today. The fourth thing that for me was kind of very, very important to mention today, not only just because of the burnout, but just in general about life, is that we live in a world of, due to all this technological advancement, social media, everything is, guys, on the touch of our finger. It's insane, which is absolutely fantastic. You want to get something, you order it. It's there in 24 hours. And if not, you can do a Prime version and you get it in just, 10 or 12. Hey, but that's the habit of having things instantaneously. So it's a lot of great stuff happening, but if you want to read a newspaper, and if you wanted to read a newspaper 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you had to actually get out of your house, get to the stand, to the newspaper stand, get your newspaper, pay for it, and really just, go kind of sort of page by page and read it. And now everything, you can take your phone and you go like scroll. It's like everything is there. Our minds are so used to that instantaneous gratification that we don't even have time to process the information. It's just we just constantly get bombarded. So everything is here. Everything is about now. I want it now. I want to have it. If I order it, I want to have it now. So it's actually like, when I talk about it, you can even feel that I'm really getting kind of honestly stressed in a way. But the thing is that there are a couple of things. So those are kind of sort of things that have happened in the course of and of course many other. But just for me, these are the very important things. So really the opportunities, which is all great. It brings a lot of benefits. But we just need to be aware of it. That's what I'm saying. So education, job possibilities, the world is changing, technology, social media, everything is really on a silver platter for us. That has its positive and negative things. But the thing is that a couple of things didn't really change. And number one is that the day has, and this is like number 5, sort of for me, topic number 5, which is, I just need to check my clock that I make sure that I'm sort of keeping the time. But the thing is that sort of the day didn't really change, right? The day has 24 hours. I mean, let's face it, and we have 365 days a year, unless it's really the 366 days a year. But in general, that's it, right? It hasn't changed. The 24 hours hasn't changed. The amount of time we need to spend on sleep, the amount of time we need to spend on sort of getting rest, that hasn't really changed. So we're kind of cramped in this kind of time capsule where we want everything, but we cannot have everything. So what happens is that we need to make choices, but we have not learned how to make choices. And that's scary, because it's like, I have to make so many choices now, so many more choices now than I had to do before. It's insane. So in a way, I'm very thankful to this whole kind of virus situation, or I don't even care how the situation is called. But my point is, I'm really grateful, because kind of humanity goes back to these basics, goes back to, get up, have some food, get some rest, take care of your kids if you have kids. If you don't have your pet, if you can go outside, you go outside. If you cannot go outside, you stay at home. So it's a very, very, nothing, there is not a lot of rushing. But the problem is that if we once it stops, we go back to our lives, is again this, like, so many choices we need to make, right? So it's a lot of this pressure. And the other thing that hasn't really changed in the course of the couple of years is that our brains haven't really, like, I'm talking about the last sort of, if we just isolate, not even 50 years, is like sort of the 20, 30 years max. Our brain hasn't really progressed much in sense of biological, neurological developments. It hasn't really, right? I mean, we have done a massive development as in sort of humans in the history of since the existing of the humans, but not really the last bit of 10-15 years, And the thing here is, if there are any scientists or whatever now listening, you guys do please feel free to correct me. But I've kind of tried to really look a little bit into this, and it hasn't really changed much or developed significantly. But the thing is that we're overloaded with information. We're just overloaded, and one of the first signals of a burnout is that you get overloaded and your brain cannot process it. So you just sort of burn out. So you're burning yourself out. It's too much. You cannot handle it. Your brain goes berserk in a way. Burns out like a candle. So we are getting a lot of stimulus. The problem, I mean, I was kind of trying to figure out the facts, and it says that in the last 100 years, so since after the big economical crisis in the 1930s, up until, well, that's a little bit less than 100 years, but just in that sort of time period, we are getting just until 9 a.m., our brain gets 200 times more stimulus than 100 years ago, just until 9 a.m. So it's like you wake up and before you know it, a lot of information, and our brain simply cannot handle it. We cannot handle it. We don't know how to process it. It's the whole problem. So it's maybe we can handle it, but we simply haven't learned our brain how to process it. So with kind of all these things, I have been thinking about, what is it that we can do, and I was trying to sort of thinking like, what would be the game plan. It's good. Now we know all this. Hey, thumbs up for us. I'm not saying anything new. I think I'm just summarizing in a way what we all know, one way or another, and maybe a couple of other things. But these for me have been very, very significant. And we're so. But what is the game plan? What do we do now? Right. We know all this, and what do we do now? So. I'm a big fan of what I call the self-care, self-love, especially has become very significant for me after the sort of the burnout. Because again, I thought I knew myself. My biggest pain is that I realized that I actually don't. So what could I do? What did I do in a way? So first, I think, and I've kind of noted a couple of things, but I think for me the greatest thing, the greatest pain and the greatest joy has been that I had to get to know myself again. So basically is doing a handbrake. And I was on a seminar that I heard a lady talking about a lot of these similar things. Wonderful young lawyer. Very young age, she also went through a burnout. No kids, no family, no anything. She just overloaded herself. And one of the things she said, which stayed with me for a very long time, is that, and I'm going back to what I already said, is that we kind of just so much identify ourselves with the status, not even the social status, but just the status of that we forget who we really are. And what I mean by this, when they ask you, when you meet somebody on the street and they ask you and you gotta introduce yourself, you basically go like, hey guys, hi, my name is Anastasia. Tell me something about you. And you go and just blabber out your statuses. You just kind of go and read through your resume in a way, your life resume. So you go, oh yeah, I'm married, I have 3 kids, I work for da-da-da, or I do da-da-da, or, and my free time. And it's funny enough that that's kind of what we do, but that's not who we are. Or maybe it is, or partially it is, but she made a challenge for us at the time, and maybe I'm just kind of giving you guys a challenge for now, is when you will meet somebody tomorrow, maybe try and think about your passions, your interests, what you love to do, what you don't love to do, what sort of warms your heart, and try to introduce yourself from that perspective. So, for instance, I know my name is Anastasia, and really the challenge was that we were not supposed to use any status. So no mom, no wife, no, yes, I'm a woman. Yeah. Yes, I'm married. You see, my brain even. Yes, I'm born then and then. Yes, I'm born there and there. Those are facts. But that you try to sort of more talk from your heart in a way what you love. And it feels very strange, but you start to connect with people in a very, very different way in that way. So this was kind of the first thing for me. Get to know yourself and start talking about yourself from the perspective of not your job, not your CV, not your status, not whatever, but really, really deep down who you really are, what you like and what you don't like. Then the other thing, and I think I'm going to talk about this more next week, is, and for me this was very, very tough, was setting your limits, setting my life priorities. What is important for me, what is not important for me, making choices. It's insanely difficult. Of course, some of them are very obvious, but some not really. Like, for instance, think about how would you like to have your day? How many hours a day would you like to spend with your kids, and how many hours a day would you need to spend working, and how many hours a day, you might not like it, but maybe if you're working, but if you're not a working parent, or you're not a parent at all, just try to sort of set priorities. And I think, I'm definitely going to talk more about this next time. So like more of a priority management things I've learned, rather than time management things. Then the other thing that I really, really try to do is I really try to take care of myself. That has been one of the biggest things that I try to do, is taking good care of myself. Like, knowing myself, setting my limits, and sometimes people will get angry, sometimes they will not like it, but I really gotta learn how to sort of set those boundaries. So really take care of myself. What that means for me is that I have my routines, and you guys can see some of my routines because I post a lot of Facebook and Instagram, and that's the purpose. But it really is very, very simple. So first and foremost is I try to eat as healthy as possible. Right? I like my occasional wine. I like my occasional pizza. I like my occasional... I'm not a very sweet person. I'm more of the savory kind of person. But, that's kind of very important for me, my health. And not only through food, but through activity, just mentally keeps me really sort of sane. I am a very family type of I love my friends, but I also need my time with my kids, and I'm trying to just be kind of gentle to myself and not too harsh on myself, I think. So those are kind of the very basic principles in my life. Easier said than done, but those are, I think I'm just kind of, those are kind of my priorities in a way, or part of my priorities. One thing that I like to sort of say is really, for me, has been one of the biggest things is trusting myself, trusting the decisions that I make. Really going kind of deep down in me and trusting my inner instinct, whatever you want to call it. But the older I get, I think that gets very important, and just have a belief in the things that I do. I don't know if things are going to work out. Nobody knows if they're going to work out, but just trusting my decisions. And over the years, I've come to realize that I do mistakes. I do absolutely mistakes when I make decisions, but most of my decisions, about 9 out of 10 of my decisions, have proven to be pretty good. So I find ways how I can trust myself. And I would say the last thing for me is something that is quite sort of important is maybe this goes to sort of the mindfulness techniques, but is really, really trying to live life of gratitude, and I'll try to again maybe in some of the next things, next sort of lives, talk about this as well. So really live a life of gratitude, be thankful for the things that I have in my life rather than looking for the things that I don't. I'm trying to be aware of the simple little beautiful things that are through life, and just I have goals, I have wishes, I have things that I want to do, but I try to really just be here and now and just enjoy the journey, the moment, rather than just doing what I want to do and just go through it and just don't enjoy it. I think that's really, really kind of scary for me, especially with the whole history. So I would just say for the end, guys, with all these things, and I'm kind of a couple of minutes over time, but try to make a good life for yourself, not necessarily in materialistic ways. I don't mean good life in materialistic sense. You should have a certain materialistic things because we need it. We need a house, we need food, we need even a car or bicycle or whatever. So some things are there, but beside those relatively basic stuff, the rest is what you make out of it. So make sure you make a good life for yourself. And really the last thing that I'm going to leave you with is, don't try to fit in. Don't try. There is no, your experiences make you uniquely you. My experiences, my life, my background, my toughest moments are the ones that have made me me. My decisions are the ones that make me. Bad, good, better, worse, doesn't matter. They are the ones that have this. So don't try to fit in. Just figure out what is it that you like, and figure out what your dreams are, and figure out, again, it's easier said than done, but I think what you like to do, who you are, and just build upon that. And I think once you bring this into kind of a daily habit, there starts to be a little smile on your face, kind of in a way. So I think I'll leave you with that, bit of a recap of the night. Thank you for the patience for watching, the ones that have or the ones that haven't. Some of the people are here in the Netherlands. I think most of the people are outside of the Netherlands. So I try to also keep it a little bit universal, because it's not about, we're all human beings and we kind of plus minus face the same problems in life. So this has been the Thursday evening for today, or for tonight. I think the second, officially first, let's say, because the first one was really the introduction. So this is the second. Food for positive thoughts. These have been my views of the things we face currently in life. I think I have, for sure. I think all of us, plus minus, have. And how I managed to deal with it. So if you have any questions, and I see a couple of questions, at least the one that I see now, from Sabina Smailovic, interesting talk, thank you very much. Who are you without the status? That is a very interesting question, and that is a question that we all of us actually have to answer, because it is I think who we deeply down inside of us are. I think sort of like kids, what is it that you wanted to be or do? And it's not a profession, but it's more like your passions, your love, your, what makes you heart rate go, bump up and go up. I think that's who you are. It's not the status. The status is just what you do, but it's not who you are. Well, not fully who you are. It's just partially who you are. Again, these are my point of views. These are my opinions. This is how I view things. This is what has helped me be who I am, and helps me put a big smile on my face every morning, and just go for it and live the life that I like to live, and try to kind of see things, see life from it's beautiful thing rather than something that I just need to live through it. So, but I think that's it for me, guys, for tonight. If you have anything else you'd like to say, please feel free to text me if there are any particular topics that maybe warmed your heart, or you'd like to ask me. Maybe I've gone through the same thing and maybe I would be able to give my point of view on things. Feel free to text me. That's okay. That's perfectly fine. I'll try to keep these talks within like sort of half an hour. So sorry for just stretching it a little bit more. I see you guys again next week. I think next week is not going to be Thursday, but rather I'll move it because Thursday is pretty packed. And I believe next, as I mentioned, I think next Tuesday I'll touch a little bit more on a couple of topics that are very close to my heart. And one of the things is, well, there are a lot, but I think one of the first things that I will be talking is more about sort of setting priorities and how I manage to set priorities in life, and how that has helped me, some techniques that I've learned from some much wiser people than myself. So I have topics that I want to go through, but if you guys want something more, you let me know. And thank you guys, love you guys. I hope you will come to like the Thursday evening or the evenings with me. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for the emergency wellness workout, guys, for some laughs and some fun. Good evening. Thank you very much. And stay safe, stay healthy. Love yourselves. Take care of yourselves. And I see you guys hopefully tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for the emergency wellness workout. Bye.